This is a story about courage and commitment, bigotry and hatred, justice and freedom. And it begins here on the streets of Selma, Alabama. 42 kids from Houston ride into Selma to learn about the civil rights struggle. They're taking a walk, a symbolic march.
We will cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
By the time they get to the other side of this bridge, you'll understand why. This is the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named for a Confederate general. It is the only way out of Selma on the road to the state capitol in Montgomery, 55 miles away. The bridge still looks the same as it did in 1965, when another group of marchers set out across the Alabama River. In 1965, blacks did not have the right to vote. When they tried to register in Selma, the sheriff chased them off the courthouse steps. Throughout the months of struggle, hundreds of blacks were arrested. Many were beaten. Some of them died. The consequences of allowing blacks to vote were enormous. White Southerners foresaw an end to the political system they had dominated for more than a century. Blacks saw the right to vote as the elusive victory of the civil rights movement. The movement itself had come to a boiling point on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. 600 marchers crossed the bridge heading for the Capitol to speak to the governor. Governor George Wallace said there would be no meeting and no march, and he ordered state troopers to stop the blacks at the bridge. What happened next horrified the nation watching on TV. If you're looking for the turning point in the struggle for equality, this was it. The spectacle became known as Bloody Sunday. The Freedom Marchers were beaten back across the bridge, but their dream did not die there. This bridge had suddenly become the symbol of a long, hard civil rights struggle. Crossing the Alabama River and taking their grievances to the state capitol in Montgomery meant having a chance at the kind of freedom the Emancipation Proclamation could not guarantee. Not crossing the bridge, of course, meant nothing would change. Dr. Martin Luther King rushed to Selma and quickly organized a second march. 2,000 blacks and white sympathizers marched across the bridge. When they came face to face with state troopers, they stopped, said a prayer, and turned around. That night, a white civil rights worker was murdered on the streets of Selma. The White House had had enough. 4 days later, President Johnson presented Congress the Voting Rights Act. 2 days after that, a federal judge lifted the ban on the march. This time, 3,200 people crossed the bridge bound for Montgomery. The National Guard protected them along the way. They never did meet the governor, but by then, their victory was at hand. So that's what brings these kids from Houston to the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
You feel happy to be like crossing somebody else's footsteps and that it's easier for you than it was for them.
It was more than just about walking, marching, protesting. It was about justice.
And this walk was about remembering our past. And this bridge still connects us there. Charles Hadlock, 11 News, Selma, Alabama.